welcome to another episode of the Infohazard podcast show. I'm one wheel of this tricycle, David, here with the other wheel.
And I'm the wobbliest training wheel in the back of this tricycle. And our third wheel is out. Our foreign correspondent, Danny, out on assignment in Italy. We wish him well.
But even though Danny's out of town, news actually happened this week, didn't it, Phil?
It did. We touched on it a little bit last week, but the U.S. is still in the process of bailing out the economy. No, not ours. I mean, I could see you were kind of jumping there. No, the government's still shut down. We're not doing anything to address the current crises in our country. But Argentina's economy, we're on it. We're covering it. We put $20 billion into bailing out the peso, and we're putting another $20 billion into building a facility in Argentina to do something. But we're giving them $20 billion to do it.
This is so weird, man. And I don't see this on the, like, I read, I don't know, the New York Times, The Economist. I haven't been, religious about the news this week. And I just don't see this being reported very often.
This is an initiative undertaken by Scott Bessent, the Secretary of the Treasury. He doesn't get as much coverage as the rest of the Trump cadre, I don't think. He's, I think he actually has a background that makes him somewhat qualified, at least from the outside, in terms of doing the job. So he's not as
weird.
But there is some speculation as to why we're bailing out Argentina is because he has ties to mutual funds that are heavily invested in Argentina, but that's like the least exciting bit of corruption currently going down in the administration, which is probably why you don't hear too much about it.
It's just normal corruption, not insane, quick by the movie rights kind of corruption.
Yeah, no, he doesn't realize what Trump realizes, which is you can just say, money now, please, and people will just line up to give it to him.
Right, he's trying to be sneaky or something?
Yeah, what's sneaky?
Wait, okay, so what, do you know anything about this $20 billion facility being built?
No one does. No, I don't.
Okay.
It's an American tradition to just shovel money into Argentina. I didn't know this until this week, but going back since forever, we've been piling loans into Argentina all the way back to Pinochet days. We've just been a big supporter, I guess you could say.
Okay, that's weird.
It is weird.
Icky American stuff. You look queasy.
I'm just trying to figure out where the fuck I read about that stupid facility. Yeah, here we go. $20 billion private facility in Argentina for Argentina. What? Shoring up Argentina's debt market. It's an actual market?
I mean, I would assume that means they're just buying a bunch of Argentinian debt so that...
No, it's a facility. It's we're giving them a $20 billion swap line, and also we're giving them $20 billion to build a facility with the purpose of shoring up Argentina's debt.
That makes no goddamn sense.
Listeners, if you have any idea what the fuck is going on, write a comment down below.
Please let us know. Do our research for us.
Help. Yeah, seriously. I'm throwing in the towel on this one. We're just giving Argentina money for some reason. We just love them. Speaking of people we just love, Trump pardoned someone this last week, George Santos. You remember George Santos?
I do.
Disgraced New York politician.
Yeah, right, which that says something. I mean, it takes a lot to be so disgraced he's not currently running for mayor.
I was still kind of trying to figure out why Trump pardoned this guy who I think he defrauded a homeless veteran who was trying to get money to get medical attention for his sick dog. The most Mad Libs combination of the most sinister financial crimes villain.
Pick two whatever groups of living beings that you would look like an asshole if you defrauded. Veterans, puppy.
The dog was also an orphan. Okay, until I actually just said this sentence out loud, I had no idea why Trump was helping them. Then I said he's a disgraced New York politician. Then I realized they're birds of a feather. We flock together.
Right, but I saw his tweet or whatever explaining Trump does not take pardons lightly. He has to weigh all the moral hazard, right? And so I think
And what was his justification?
It basically boiled down to he's a Republican. Right? It was like
I think the exact quote is, George Santos was somewhat of a rogue, but there are many rogues throughout the country that aren't forced to serve 7 years in prison. And his ears became red as he was saying it. At least Santos had the courage, conviction, and intelligence to always vote Republican.
Yeah.
Just coming out and saying it. It's like, I literally don't care what he did. He's a Republican, so he's getting a pardon.
That takes courage. Oh, my God.
I mean, he's given a lot of weird pardons. Is this the laziest defense ever yet?
This sounds like the laziest defense
so I'm
ever.
pardoning him?
Right. He's like, there's a lot of criminals. They don't all get 7 years of prison, but this one's a Republican. So off the hook.
Yeah. I was shocked. I came across this thread on r/conservative, and the comments were really surprising. Top comment: Santos deserves to be in prison. He's a disgrace to the Republican Party. What the fuck? Setting a scumbag free because he votes Republican is not a good image. He's a real piece of shit. Not cool, man. Santos is a piece of shit. He should rot in prison. Nope, this one is bad. He should be in prison. And there's another rake to step on. We need a constitutional amendment to limit the president's pardon power. I gave that guy an upvote in your honor.
Hell yeah.
Why? A million question marks. And then it just goes on like that.
It's
on r/conservative.
Good to see some conservatives that can see this for the insanity that it is. I know that Joe Biden was old and Kamala didn't say anything, even though Joe Biden was really, really old. But, maybe next time around, let's not vote for the people who are just audaciously criminal. So,
yeah, well.
And I wish maybe,
we'll see.
And maybe some Republican office holders could make this realization and do something to check Trump's power and stop this.
Potentially ones in Congress.
Yeah.
Potentially ones who could actually do something about it.
Speaking of feeling the heat from the American people, King's protests were this weekend.
But do you mean the Hate America protests?
That's right. Yeah, the Antifa, terror. I mean, they were terrorizing people all over the nation in their roller skates and inflatable dinosaur costumes with, yeah. It was basically, it was like Hamas 2.0, but all over America.
Did you go to the protests?
I did not make it to the protests. How about you?
I was at a wedding, but I did actually get to see the protests. I'm in Las Vegas for the weekend, and they were protesting outside of New York, which I thought was a little strange because there's a giant Trump tower. I guess it's just not as good of a location in Las Vegas. Yeah, too shitty to protest outside of, maybe. I don't know.
Was it big? Was it raucous? Was it violent?
It was big. It was raucous. It was not violent. No, it was very well mannered, as protests tend to be, which is good, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't encourage the opposite, but it always does feel like it's great. It's good to have all the people and the support, and then. Yeah.
You're saying there's no threat behind it. Part of the point of a large protest is that there's the threat that it will turn violent. Is that what you're saying?
Or disrupt something. Everyone was staying on the sidewalk. I don't know.
Yeah. Boomers, right? I heard that this is mostly a boomer thing, right? These protests.
Yeah. No. I mean,
political
a
activism
good cross section of people from my informal survey of the crowd. But yeah, they skew older. It's just people with time to do this kind of thing.
So I looked this up and I got some Wikipedia article on it, and I'm curious what your guess is. So I was thinking, okay, 7 million people, that's a lot, but the country is 350 million, so it's 5% or something. So it's a lot, but it's not overwhelming. And I was wondering what's the biggest protest we've ever had. And how do you think this ranks among the biggest protests in American history?
Pretty high. I think just like the closer you get to the present day, the bigger the total number will be, just because the
Yeah,
population's bigger. Like the
that's right.
population growth outpaces enthusiasm for protests. I would guess like the largest protest in recent history would be the George Floyd protests.
That's right. That was the largest protest in American history. Though the numbers were kind of confusing on this table, but it was something like in the 20 millions of people who protested that.
Yeah, it was quite the uprising.
This was number 3, and it was 2 million more participants than the No Kings protest earlier in the year. So
Great.
momentum is building. That's good. But the number 2 protest I found pretty shocking. It was 20 million people in 1970 for Earth Day.
Really?
What? That
Huh.
this I'm not sure if this Wikipedia article is the same one that says Aristotle's a Pokemon master, but yeah, but I mean, that's what it said.
I thought
Apparently,
Trump's response to this was pretty interesting.
ugh,
It's like I'm not a king. I mean, that is good that he will come out and say it, but then he posted a bunch of like AI slop with his special boy Twitter, where he's wearing a crown and dumping manure on protesters, and the imagery is too enticing for him to really
yeah.
deny.
Yeah, I mean, to take a moment to dunk on this defense of Trump, that like, see, if he was a king, people wouldn't be able to protest like this. And it's like, well, if people weren't protesting like this, like he's clearly showing that he wants to be king. He's pushing as hard as he can until he is restrained. And so, like, for mocking the opposition for actually standing up to him and exaggerating the threat that he poses because he hasn't actually like realized his full harmful potential. Instead of criticizing this, you should probably be expressing gratitude. I didn't make it out to the protest this weekend. I was at a kid's birthday party, but I'm grateful to the people who did. Thank you so much for showing up.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. Yeah, and he's that's right. He is not a king because the Americans are not going to stand for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Not because of
I
his own.
I love that people got out there and showed their support for not having kings. I think is pretty basic as an American citizen, but it's great. But I would encourage everyone who goes out to this kind of protest to use that opportunity to meet some people, try to, get involved in the community a little bit more, things other than marches, which are good. But I think the best thing about these big public marches is just meeting in person with your community and making those connections that can be the foundation of political action.
Hear, hear.
We saw a little movement in the Chicagoland area. Some lawsuits recently filed against ICE for their conduct during arrests and kidnappings. There was a Cook County judge. They banned ICE agents from arresting people at courthouses. Arrests at courthouses were deemed unlawful by the judge. And another judge made a mandate that under Illinois law, as law enforcement, that ICE are also required to wear body cams. It's not just local police, it is also federal agents.
All right. Well, those sound like a pair of improvements to the situation, and it would be pretty great if these ICE agents had to wear body cams and we could review their actions and prove some of this misconduct. I mean, not that we're not already proving lots of misconduct.
Slightly related note, California law forbids ICE agents from making arrests at courthouses. They just do it anyway. So, I don't know. We'll see how this Illinois judgment works out, but
Of course.
yeah.
Everything trickles up or percolates to the Supreme Court, which then rules that the president and the executive branch can do whatever the hell they want. But, you delay, chip away. It's good. Is there any other news related to the shutdown this week? It's still shut down, right? That it hasn't turned.
Yeah.
It's not shut up. Shut up. It's not unshut down.
There's not much going on with the shutdown because what happened is Mike Johnson adjourned the body, so they're not in office. The Senate's still there doing stuff,
Right.
but the House of Representatives is just adjourned, and
Just golfing.
they're saying Democrats aren't willing to negotiate, but they also adjourned the body, so there's no one there to negotiate with.
So when do they
Democrats come
return?
into the office to like try to find Republicans who maybe are standing around, but they're not there. They left. So
Is there such like a House of Representatives water cooler where they're just like, "Hey, Mike, what do you say? Start the government up again? Could you pass me a tea bag?"
maybe in the underground tunnels underneath the Capitol with their where they hang out with the other reptiles, that's where the business goes down. Or maybe they all meet at like Spago, just fancy restaurants. Like that's the Capitol Hill equivalent. Government shutdown lasting this long has only happened once. This is the second longest government shutdown. The first longest was under the last Trump administration, 35 days. But after 35 days, we're in uncharted territory, The style of government has basically never seen a shutdown this long. And we don't know what happens like after 2 months, 3
Right,
months. Like how long could this conceivably go on?
I guess like they could just permanently do this, right? Like just the government could just say like we don't ever need to leave whatever emergency mode or what is this mode? Is there a name for this? Whatever, shutdown mode.
I don't know. That because we're in uncharted territory, we may have to start coming up with names for things, right? So like the whole reason the government shut down, right, is because the Congress needs to appropriate funds for the laws that are passed. Right? Like we need to, set a budget and then like set the money aside for the things that they're legally obligated to fund because they made laws that require these federal programs which need money. So they're under legal obligation to make these things happen, and they have the legal authority to give the money.
Mm-hmm.
They can't give the money because they can't agree on how much money to give.
Right. It seems to me like both sides have no interest in restarting the government. Like the Republicans want to destroy the government. Like they want to just get rid of all government spending except the military and payoffs to themselves and their friends, I guess. And and the Democrats think that they have a political winner. They think that people will realize that the Obamacare subsidies expiring is going to really hurt them, and they'll start to hold it against the Republicans and against Trump. Next year, there will be a whole new cycle where they could hypothetically negotiate another budget, right? So I guess the Republicans will get a chance to do the same thing that they did with the big, beautiful bill? Or was that only like a once per term? Like, isn't that annual?
I mean, they did it in the first year.
No, it's once per session. It's once per session. And okay, so this is why they're not going to get to do it again, is because the next session, the Democrats are likely to have a majority in the House. So if
we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, they're currently working the maps in a way to like disenfranchise huge numbers of people. Like North Carolina just theoretically gave another Republican seat, on their map.
Well, the voters do get a say, even with the maps being drawn. And hey, California is rigging our maps right back at them. So we'll see. Yeah, it's a race to the bottom. I'm not relying on federal benefits that I know of. I haven't really felt any pain from this. I'm not the researcher with grants. Like, yeah, okay, I guess like the company I work for, some of our contracts with our customers are sort of contingent on healthcare funding and stuff like that. So, I guess, eventually like impact will spread throughout the economy and will eventually affect me. And I'm sure lots of people are closer in the causal chain and they've already been impacted by this. But I don't know, what's your take on like how much impact are you feeling, or how much impact are the people around you feeling from this shutdown?
The largest employer in the country is the federal government. The people who are directly affected are like the people who are losing their jobs. If you furlough like 2 million people, 3 million people, and then those jobs just never come back, that would just like trigger a depression. It's not like a recession, like people are like, scared to like end their money. It's like a depression. There's just a massive labor force that can't find a job immediately. That's 1929 levels in a total cell phone. didn't have to happen at all. Yeah,
Right,
I
but so
guess.
people are already having their paychecks delayed, though, right? So like this is already happening. It's been what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? You said 30 days. This has
Yeah, I
already
think
been
it's 2
30
weeks.
days.
Where like as of time of recording, 18 days, 19 days,
Hmm.
something like that. The longest has been 35 days. So
Right. So yeah, going a month without pay would be pretty rough.
no, but I'm pretty lost as to like what happens. I just started cruising the internet looking for hot takes, and
Okay.
here's some spicy takes I found.
Good.
Reddit user Fury1335 says, once the air traffic controllers miss a check, they will stop going to work and the deal will be hammered out in a day. It happened that way last time. What do you think?
Air traffic controllers, Mr. Check? Yeah, I mean, because that is the kind of thing that would impact so many people that it would just be politically painful to actually keep it going. So yeah, I mean, that seems like
Yeah.
it could be something like that could be the triggering incident. I mean, I've heard it described like that, like, oh, in early November or whatever, or now, like letters are going out, right? Across the country, letters are going out announcing the increase in healthcare premiums. Has that
hmm
happened yet? Or is that beginning of November? It
I
seems
mean,
like,
I haven't gotten my letter, but I am on subsidized healthcare, so I imagine I will get this letter, and at that
okay,
point I won't have healthcare because I cannot
you're not
afford that increase in premiums.
paying
So
$1,000 extra a month
I literally
per
can't.
person.
So I will
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I will get sick and die and potentially die because the government can't come to a deal.
All right.
Hopefully not. That would
Yeah,
directly
let's
impact me though.
This is sickness and death. Yeah,
Yeah.
that counts as direct impact.
Yeah. To me or my
Yeah.
children.
Hmm. 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 Dead kids, not a political winner.
Not really. Not really. Not the outcome I would hope to see.
Ugh, don't remember where
Yikes.
was my turn. Yeah, so, right. So, yeah, once those letters get sent out, that could be a similar triggering incident that could get them to fix it pretty quick. But, I mean, Republicans are acting like they're not worried about that. So, but yeah, I mean, if
I
that
think
happens first and then the air traffic controllers miss a check, then it seems like it would just be worse for them. It's like if you're gonna cave.
I worry that like they don't care because the majority of their political backing comes from the speculative economy now. Tech and particularly crypto rallied behind the Republican Party in the last election. They've been
Yeah.
reaping the benefits. They've been massively deregulated. As a share of the total economy, they've eclipsed the real economy. Like
Wait, what do you
just
mean?
the value of like fintech and like crypto and AI firms like are just all the sort of speculative elements of the economy is that's
Okay,
just a
okay.
that's a much larger share of the economy than like the real economy, like products and services, you know.
I mean, there's a teeny bit of actual services in there. Like I'm as an AI engineer who actually provides a service, I would say that like it's not all speculation, but I hear
Yeah,
what you
but
mean.
as an AI engineer who provides a service, you sometimes feel like this job could be easily done with like a line of Java instead.
No, I mean like the technology is genuinely way better now than it was 5 years ago when I was trying to automate the same things, and so now it's just easier and more successful. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying it's not all AI is speculation, right? Like there's genuine utility there. Only most of it is speculation.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading a stat this week that like the top 10% of the economy is now spending half of all spending is coming from the top 10%, basically.
Yep.
Like we're used to hearing like crazy skewed numbers when it comes to wealth accumulation, like, oh, the top 0.1% owns
Like
30%
that
of the,
much
yeah.
of the assets.
Right,
But it's
something.
also like current spending, like
Right,
current buying things. It's not
because
just they
yeah,
already have it, but like they're also the driving force of the, I don't know, what would you call it? Just the regular economy?
the
The
consumption
consumer
economy.
economy?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, like consumption is a huge part of what makes the economy exist. It's like half of every purchase is the consumption. And right, it's like, people think of sales taxes as regressive because like as a proportion of their income, poorer people are spending more of their income because, you know, food and rent is a larger portion of their income. A rich person can only spend so much on a meal. Like, you're not going to spend 10 times more than a normal person every meal, right? Like,
Well, as our Vegas correspondent for this weekend, I can tell you that you can spend much more than 10 times a regular meal cost on a meal. You can spend maybe 1,000 times as much as you would normally spend
I
on a
know
meal.
you can, but like, are you really going to average that? Like, every now and then you're just going to be like, you know, for breakfast today, I want an egg, right? Like, come on, even like a rich
Insufficient
person.
amount of caviar in this egg. Yuck. No, sir.
Oh man. Right. But I guess
I had in my sort of casual day drinking today, I went to a place called Tipsy Robot, and they had like a robot bartender. It was kind of fun.
Did it ask for a tip?
You know, there was a service fee.
A service fee. Exactly. Whatever the fuck that is.
They didn't have the audacity to ask for a tip, but there was a service fee.
But I think what we were both getting at when you're saying that, okay, the Republican backing comes from crypto and AI and, like, you know, big speculative, whatever, weird big money. So they're not that worried. Like, it might be at the point where they just don't care if people are just dying with that and angry. Even if people are angry, they're like, we're not having another election. Like, even if you guys win, we're not going to let you into Congress. You think it's like that? There's some amount of that going on.
I think there may be an amount of that going on.
I hope you're wrong.
Yeah, because that's a nightmare scenario in either extreme or even in the middle. In every possible, like, if that's the actual attitude at the top, there is no path to happiness on that particular road.
Yeah,
there's top-down political violence or bottom-up political violence or some combination of all of it in every direction.
Violence, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you that there's some chance that that's what they think. I think it's more likely than not that they still recognize that their power emanates from the people, and that if they're really, really fucking with the people in a way that even the people can't ignore, even with their head in the sand, that they might correct course. But we'll see when the air traffic controllers checks don't arrive.
As the wealthy are like 50% of the spending, they're spending the vast majority of the air travel spending that happens, because it's already an expensive thing, and people who make a lot of money both are required to air travel more often, but also are like more able to do it for leisure. So they're the most directly impacted by air traffic control. Skipping a shift, even if they're just using private planes, like even if they're the top 1% of the 1%. Yeah, they still have to go on the runway and not collide into a helicopter or something. So
got it. So that's what it's about. God damn it.
That's why Joby Aviation is here with air taxis, so you can just kind of whip, woo, and kind of avoid runways altogether.
Yeah. Cheerful stuff. Well, on to the next cheerful news item. The Gaza ceasefire is dangling on by a thread.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, it's really fucking terrible. I'm glad like a lot of people got to go home, you know, that like prisoners are returned, like some amount of prisoners are still being returned. The hostages have been released, you know, from the October 7th attacks. But then Hamas got out there in the streets to reassert their dominance, and they started killing political rivals. There's potentially rival factions, like armed factions, that are trying to like take power away from Hamas in like the Gaza area, like and Hamas and Israel are exchanging fire.
And by the way, like, okay, I copy pasted the agreement, the 20-point peace plan that Hamas and Israel agreed to. I haven't read through it all yet. We're gonna read through it here, but we're gonna skim some. I think that Hamas disarming and not being in power in Gaza is part of the agreement.
Right.
So, like, killing your political rivals in the street doesn't feel like it's keeping with the spirit of the agreement.
Yeah.
to disarm
So
and
I guess the agreement, like whoever signed the agreement, like that, there are some assumptions that were not met. Like the assumption on the part of the Israeli state with the negotiators was like, okay, you have control over your people. Either they just immediately went back on the agreement, or they don't have control over their people, and both are pretty likely to me.
yeah, could be. Yeah, I mean, I kind of tend to.
I'll just go
I
ask
think,
them.
yeah, yeah, okay.
I'll
All right.
do
Well,
some
it's
more
been
on the
nice
ground
knowing you,
reporting.
Phil.
Yeah.
uh, um, I do remember seeing basically that excuse being made by some Hamas spokesperson or something like, we don't know anything about the people over in that area. It's like, okay, convenient. That wasn't the public executions that they were excusing. That was the attacks. So, right, there were also some attacks by Hamas on IDF forces, destroying a tank, killing some people. And Israel, as is their habit, turned the favor with interest. So, lots of guns blazing. Might not be going so well.
Let's get into this 20-point agreement, if only for an educational historical bit of ephemera that may or not be relevant in a week or 10 years.
My first takes are that it is an aspirational thing, that it is a peace agreement between two mutually loathing opponents, and it's a very optimistic, idealistic kind of a thing as it's written. Right now, I feel like Hamas probably had no intention of keeping to the terms of this deal, and Israel probably believed that Hamas had no intention of sticking to the terms of the deal and was like, we'll see if we can get some hostages back. So I think that, anyway, that was my take. But the plan itself is beautiful. So let's read it. Or let's read some. Point number 1, Gaza will be a de-radicalized, terror-free zone that does not pose a threat to its neighbors.
Okay, can you apply this to just everywhere, and basically get an agreement from the parties in power there? Like, Michigan is a de-radicalized, terror-free zone, and it doesn't pose a threat to its neighbors. It's like,
yeah,
sure,
I was
yeah, we
thinking
don't
Portland.
want terrorism here. we don't want to pose a threat to Canada.
I don't know. You got to keep Canadians on their toes.
Leave it to Maine.
Carrot and the stick. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That one seems like pretty mutually agreeable, but it's also like, I don't know. Like what they're saying is Hamas, right? Like Hamas is a terrorist organization.
Right.
And so Hamas clearly poses a threat to its neighbors.
Sure. But
and so they're saying that Hamas is going to cut it out, or will cease to.
No,
they're not naming names.
Not by the text of the law.
That's right.
By the agreement that it really doesn't mean anything. Like you can label a school a gun-free zone, and maybe that's actually a little bit more actionable. But to have it be a de-radicalized zone, that means I guess get rid of all the radicals. Is that what they're saying? And the implication is that is Hamas?
I mean, I think they're clear. Yeah, you're right. They don't name names. They're not literally saying Hamas, but they're clearly talking about Hamas, right? They're saying Hamas is not going to be there in the way that they've been there, right? Isn't that what that means?
I mean, they're doing the deal with Hamas. If I'm a leader of put myself in those shoes, and I could say, well, yeah, we'll offer up some of our guys, basically. These are these are the bad dudes, and maybe that's kind of what they're willing to give up to, kind of continue to operate.
Well, let's keep going a little bit, because it gets into more detail than this. But okay. But that was my read of the first. That's my read of point 1. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Okay. Number 2, Gaza will be redeveloped for the benefit of the people of Gaza who have suffered more than enough. Hear, hear.
Hear.
Yeah. All right. Number 3, if both sides agree, the war will immediately.
And in what way? It's kind of fell apart there.
No, well, it gets into some of the details later. Both sides agree to this proposal. The war will end immediately. Israeli forces will withdraw to the agreed-upon line to prepare for a hostage release. During this time, military operations, it's blah, 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 will remain frozen. Okay. Conditions are met.
Well,
okay.
It didn't last, but this is good. This is a good part of the agreement because this is actionable and they're like clearly defined boundaries, like it's like the ceasefire part of the ceasefire.
Right. And they're like lines on a map that are part of this, and it's like, okay, yeah. IDF goes back this far, and then they release hostages, and then we go back this far.
Home. These guys go home. Right? Yeah.
Here's number 4, and as far as I know, I mean, this was kept. I mean, this was at least like initially kept. Like the IDF withdrew to these lines. Okay, number 4. Within 72 hours of Israel publicly accepting this agreement, all hostages alive and deceased will be returned.
This one basically happened. I think they were a little outside of the 72-hour window.
Well, I don't think all the deceased hostage remains have been returned still. I think all the living hostages have been returned, and about half of the deceased remains.
They did try to pass off a different body as one of the deceased, so that does seem like they don't actually know where some of the deceased are.
It also seems like there might be some pretty fucked up stuff with the remains of some of these deceased. Like, yeah. Let's be real.
Like some evidence of some real bad shit.
Yeah, I mean. Number 5. Once all hostages are released, Israel will release 250 life sentence prisoners, plus 1,700 Gazans who were detained after October 7th, including all women and children detained in that context. For every Israeli hostage whose remains are released, Israel will release the remains of 15 deceased Gazans.
Is that about the casualty ratio? I don't know.
I mean, it's just, yeah, I mean, right. There's this one's pretty heavy to me. I think
this is absolutely brutal. This is like, we're getting into it, but this is just, it's like the worst shit. Like, but we're audience, write in.
How many Israelis would you trade?
Find this?
I was gonna say, right, like, what's a fair trade in like of lives, right? It's been an interesting. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
This asymmetry has been there in this conflict, and before, that basically. Life is treated as not as precious for Palestinians. And I mean, it's not like Hamas seems to even dispute it. They treat them like this way also, but it's still just, it's gross. And it's gross to see it written out so mathematically, but that seems accurate, and both sides agreed to it. Number 6, once all hostages are returned, Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons will be given amnesty. Members of Hamas who wish to leave Gaza will be provided safe passage to receiving countries.
Do we know what the receiving countries are?
Well, I know that a lot of Hamas leadership is in Qatar, right? Like, even Israel had tried to assassinate some of them in Qatar, and they do negotiations in Qatar. Yeah, I think that they're throughout the Arab world.
Yeah,
probably not the U.S. I'm guessing Portland.
They'll all go to Portland.
College campuses, right? But so to me, the common, this is one of these details of they're what they're really, the deal is leave, that they want Hamas to go away.
No, I mean it's one of the two options, peaceful coexistence will decommission their members. Yeah, that's then the first part of that. They're allowed to live where their homes are. Once all hostages are returned, Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence and decommission their weapons will be given amnesty. If they're given amnesty, I mean, I think they're just allowed to live where they are.
That's true. All right. Number 7, upon acceptance of this agreement, full aid will be immediately sent into the Gaza Strip. Oh, yeah, so the aid has been stopped, right? That's one thing, that part of this ceasefire, not really ceasefiring at the moment. Up. Yeah. Anyway, there's some details about this. Water, electricity, sewage, hospitals, bakeries, etc. Number 8. Entry of distribution and aid through Gaza will proceed without interference through the UN and the Red Crescent. In addition, okay, this is just more stuff about aid. Aid will continue. Numbers 7 and 8 currently on hold.
Number 9 is really kind of pie in the sky, don't you think?
Dude, it's dope as hell. Number 9. Sorry. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's awesome that a Trump-written document uses the word technocratic. I mean, by Trump-written, obviously not Trump-written. It's something that Trump is taking credit for.
There you go.
Gaza will be governed under the temporary transitional governance of a technocratic, apolitical Palestinian committee responsible for delivering the day-to-day running of public services and municipalities for the people of Gaza. It'll be made up of qualified...
One of those apolitical governments, you see.
Right. They'll be like the MAGA Palestinians. It's probably a huge contingent.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson.
I don't know. No, they're
converts to Islam.
apolitical. They want like the politically ideal version of like the European Commission on Food Safety. They want that running the government.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Who knew that Trump is such a utopian? This committee will be made up of qualified Palestinians and international experts, yada, yada, yada. The Board of Peace will oversee it. It will headed and chaired by Donald Trump with other heads of state, including Tony Blair. It'll set up a framework for the redevelopment of Gaza. So, yeah, I mean, this is, so they're saying there is a new government of Gaza. So this is also part of what I'm saying when I say that they mean Hamas is no longer in power.
This is an apolitical technocratic committee responsible for the day-to-day running of public services, chaired by Donald Trump.
Right. The most apolitical, he's above politics. Yeah.
The most apolitical technocrat to ever grace the scene.
I mean, indeed. Number 10, a Trump economic development plan to rebuild and energize will be created. I mean, probably there's crypto. Many thoughtful investment proposals and exciting development ideas have been crafted by well-meaning international groups and will be considered. Okay, let's speed run the remaining one. That was number 10. I'm going to skim and see if there's anything interesting in the rest. Economic zone. No one will force to leave Gaza.
He did it again. He wanted a fucking special economic zone. He did the same thing with Armenia. So he tried to do it again. I don't know. He's just slapping his name on things and getting a bunch of real estate deals. It's always fucking real estate deals. Jesus Christ.
Okay, here's number 13. Hamas and other factions agree to not have any role in the governance of Gaza, directly, indirectly, or in any form. All military terror and offensive infrastructure, including tunnels, weapons, production facilities, will be destroyed and not rebuilt. Like, once you wipe out your opposition. But yeah, the ISF is going to be the International Stabilization Force. I feel like, I don't know, ISF just doesn't feel like the right acronym. I don't know.
ISF?
It looks doomed.
Is it too close to the IDF?
It's close to IDF. It's close to I Heart SF. It doesn't work for me.
I Heart Stabilization Force.
Number 16, Israel will not occupy or annex Gaza as the ISF establishes control and the IDF withdraws. Yeah, they use the acronyms like 10 times in this number.
That's interesting. In the version of this where this worked, right, there would be an apolitical technocratic government
headed by Donald Trump.
And Hamas would not, they'd fashion their swords into plowshares, and like those people would just go on to work in Palestine. Bakeries, or like working in debt peonage for Trump Co. or whatever. But then they would be an autonomous region, not annexed. Again, it didn't happen. Like, in any world where we could go back to this agreement, like, would that be on the path to statehood for Palestine?
Let's see if it gets to statehood, because they do talk about interfaith dialogue. But yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I mean, it sounds like a path to statehood.
Right, because they're agreeing not to annex it, right? Like, that seems like the way like China treats Taiwan, right? They consider them part of their country, and there's been speculation for years and years that they've been preparing to invade. But like, they don't have an agreement, like an ongoing agreement with Taiwan saying we won't annex the region because they already consider it to be part of their territorial sphere.
Yeah, it doesn't see right. Let's see. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, like de facto, at least for now, Taiwan is its own country, self-governing, and yeah, China is a little bit belligerent and might invade them. But until that happens and succeeds, they are their own country. And yeah, I mean, what would Gaza be under this technocratic government? Like, yeah, I mean, I guess eventually they would start to insist on, their own governance, which sort of just means statehood, right?
Well, No, but they would start with their own governments. Like under the provisions of this ceasefire treaty, they have at least
It's not self-governance,
a
though.
wish list. It's a
No, but
wish list for a government. Like we
no,
wish
but
that you would have a government.
it's not a self-government, right? It's government by Donald Trump, Tony Blair, and the technocratic blah blah blah, right? So that's not. But I guess they say
Sort
it's
of.
also
It's like an
consists of
oversight. There's like
Palestinians,
an oversight
right?
function of the international community, but there's the Gaza-based version of this.
Right. I guess it's just like eventually you would have to transition to full self-government or not, or it would just indefinitely be like, we can just we're never going to give it up. Never going to give you up. Okay. Never going to give you up. In the event that Hamas delays or rejects the proposal, the above will proceed in the terror-free areas. Got it. So basically wherever it is that the IDF has just turned into rubble, they're like, we'll start to do this with or without Hamas.
In the event that Hamas rejects this proposal, we'll just, with the territory we currently hold, we'll start unilaterally implementing this.
Yeah, and presumably then Israel and the remaining territory would remain at war.
I guess.
Interfaith dialogue. I can't read. For some reason, I can't read any word in a sentence after an interfaith dialogue. Just like
why do you think that
dialogue,
is?
blah 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 blah. Because my eyes are rolling when I see it, and
it bounces right off the page. You just
whatever.
You miss it. You're in the margins now. You miss the rest of the paragraph.
As if this conflict has anything to do with faith.
What you do kind of want to listen to that meeting, though.
Donald Trump brings the Rabbi Shlomo and.
You think Donald Trump would be at the meeting? Representing what? Christianity?
No, he's just the mediator of the interfaith dialogue. He's so
See,
Muhammad.
That's
Tell
why,
Mordecai how you feel.
He didn't crack down on the No Kings protests, because he's got his eye on the papacy.
Right, he's like, I don't want to be king, I want to be pope.
I want to be pope, the king of Christianity.
That would be unexpected. The U.S.
He did release that picture of himself as Pope.
Oh, yeah? Not surprising. Let's see. Point number 20. The United States will establish a dialogue between Israel and the Palestinians to agree on a political horizon for peaceful and prosperous coexistence. There you go. Two states. It's number 20.
All right. Well, I mean, weirdly, we spent a lot of time talking about how this is just not going to happen. And then you get down to the last couple of items on the list, and according to the agreement, now with Hamas currently fighting the IDF again, according to the agreement, it still stands even if Hamas rejects the agreement.
Right. So it seems like Israel has basically agreed to hand over some of the territory to this technocratic, apolitical Tony Blair, Donald Trump thing.
Yeah, but also it says the above will happen if they reject this. I mean, you could see that in a legal way, sort of referring to all of the preceding agreements, in which case, they would be obligated to still allow relief through, as long as they were still getting hostages back.
Right. I mean, presumably they're still afforded, they're still allowed to defend themselves, right? So it's the whole, the item about the war will cease can't be unilateral. So now, of course, the definition of, in Israel, the best defense is a good offense. So you can kind of imagine a part of Gaza still under Hamas control, just not, doing this whole occasionally shooting at the IDF with disproportionate response from the IDF, nobody caring particularly about any citizen or any civilians in the area. And that you could see that in part of Gaza, and then part of Gaza is
the
rubble.
IDF controlled is part of Gaza would be subject to the technocratic no Hamas government but they can't then retreat from that area, otherwise it wouldn't be controlled by them anymore. So I don't really know.
Sorry, who can't retreat from that area?
I mean, it's not how it's going to go down. I just find it interesting.
Yeah, I think they're saying it's like some like gradual like handover of pieces of it as is like tactically possible from the IDF to the ISF. So yeah, it would be very interesting to see how much of that could actually happen.
Not tactically be possible if they were in active conflict with Hamas. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like Gaza's like it's a strip. So like, yeah, it could be that if like the north part of the strip is just like demolished, then and there's like nobody there, then they could start to like let people trickle back in. Yeah.
Alrighty. We did it. We informed.
So yeah, pray for Danny. He's lost right
Yeah.
now, alone, frightened. He's been reading the news, but with nowhere to vent.
Thoughts and prayers.
It's been another banger of an episode. See you next week.
See ya when we be ya. Yeah.
Well put.